I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of the North Oakland Transportation Authority, or NOTA, as we lovingly refer to it. This is, the meeting today is being held at Oxford Township. Thank you for hosting. Today is Thursday, February 20th of 2025. With that, could we have a roll call, please, for attendance of the board?
Yes, McDonald,
Here.
Flood is excused.
Excuse.
Brickfield,
Here.
Curtis,
Here.
Cyrowski,
Here.
Moore,
Here.
Waffles excused, Granger,
Here.
Ferrari,
Here.
and Barnett.
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum with all communities represented, which is great. Did she?
Oh, wait, did I say Joe?
You said Ross, didn't you? Or you said Ross?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ross is excused, but I'm
You are Joe.
You're on
I'm
their
sorry,
behalf.
Joe.
Yes. Understood. Okay, so we do have a quorum, and we'll move on to respects for the flag. We'll get a veteran to lead us. I can do that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Like you want to say, we still standing. We need to do that.
Okay, the board has before it an agenda of a couple minor changes. Number 11, legal matters, that will not be in closed session, but I will comment to the board at that time in detail on that. And then, was there anything else, Lynn?
No, I think so.
Okay, that would be it, so,
Yep.
yes.
Do we have to add Joe Ferrari as a member officially, or just because our board?
The IGA asks for written notifications to NOTA, but he's here, we know who he is, everybody knows Joe, come on. Both
Okay.
Joes. So,
I'm sorry, I
so it
don't.
shouldn't be a problem.
I'm Bill.
I know.
motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second.
Any question on the motion? Here,
Quick question. Why did we remove the attorney wasn't available or?
The attorney did not want us to go into closed session.
Okay.
About that, I got a question for you. If we're gonna be talking, not in closed session, but just talking about any issue, should the camera be on or off?
Oh, it'll be on.
It's an open meeting, so you can't
Yeah.
dictate
No.
that.
So it's not gonna be closed at all?
Right, and respectfully to all the board members, I will be providing certain boundaries of what direction the discussion can take at that time. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any other? If not, all in favor of the agenda as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, the board received the minutes of our January 16th regular meeting. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? Otherwise,
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
or,
Oh, I forgot, Carl's.
are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, director's report, Lynn?
Yes, just some highlights from February. So our Q-Ride, we're about 7 weeks in on our Q-Ride implementation. It's, we're up and running. We have been working through some changes, and the Q-Ride has been making some adjustments for us, and we are getting better and better. And our staff is learning it, so that's been going well.
Lynn, would you, kind of for the benefit of those that may not be familiar with Q-Ride,
Oh, sure.
just real briefly?
Sure.
So-
Sure. Q-Ride is our dispatch software that replaced our previous dispatch software, PC Trans, that we've had for years. And so we're implementing, the good thing with Q-Ride is it has an optimization feature which helps place the rides into routes versus us just being completely manual like we were before. So it's just their optimization doesn't meet our standards. They wanted to group a bunch of people at once, and we just don't run that way. We're much more customer service based, and so we've been tweaking with them on what our idea of services and working with their system, and they've been adjusting it, which has been good. We also implemented the tablets. We had them all installed the first week in February, and we have like 5 or 6 of them that got installed last weekend. So I believe all of them are installed now. We had a few issues with them, but I think drivers are slowly learning them. They're still using paper and tablet as a backup, but slowly we're weaning them off the paper and hopefully to go completely tablet within the next couple of weeks. Let's see, January was a really busy month for writing grants. I wrote 6 grants, both operational and capital. The operational grants were like 2.2 million. Capital grants were 1.5 million to write for 9 vehicle replacements and also for garage equipment for our back garage after we get it fixed up. And we have started our fitness for duties exams. So those are being implemented as drivers have time during the day. So we're sending them out if they have a break or if they've got a block of time. So we're just trying to send out drivers as we go. So that's been going well. And the intergovernmental agreements have been sent out to our attorney, but we have not yet received that back from him yet. So that is in his hands. We currently have Comcast internet. And now that we're 100% cloud-based versus just on our network, because we have a generator, so we have electricity. So before when we were in PC Trans, we were using our server for our data, but now that we're cloud-based, our IT guy suggests that we have a backup internet connection because both of our phones and our dispatch software is now cloud-based. So he suggests doing a 5G internet connection, and we're getting prices for that right now.
Question on that, I know we had Comcast came through up that area a couple years ago, but wasn't Charter already there? Could you use them as backup?
We could. We're getting quotes
Okay.
on different providers and whatnot, so to see which one is the best. We did have a surprise OSHA inspection. Yes, first part of February, and he came back. We had a meeting with them on the 14th of February that said that they've identified 1 serious violation and some other citations. The official report should be expected in about 3 weeks. And it looks like there may be fines up to, yeah, 7,000 is the maximum, but I think with discounts and whatnot from our conversations, Jeff, who's been through the OSHA, thinks it'll be about 3,000 or so. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But I'll update you more when we get the actual report.
And would those be refunded if we correct the violations?
I don't believe so.
No.
They're generally penalties.
Yes,
It's a fine.
right.
Okay.
And we're looking to launch our vehicle camera RFP smart. It's a smart procurement group that actually does the procurement, and they are saying that it's going to go out in early March. It's 100% in their hands on when it goes out, but that's what they're saying. And we have the most recent drawings from our architect included in the packet. Thank you.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Move to receive and file the director's report.
We're not done yet. There's a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were, sorry.
So, going back to the OSHA, they offered a free inspection, and they would tell you free all the problems you
Yes.
could have, and you could have a chance to fix them
Yes.
until OSHA gets there. What
Yes.
happened?
The operations manager chose not to have them come in.
He decided not to?
Yes.
You weren't aware of that, huh?
No, he was, I guess he was really
Part of the problem.
against it.
Okay.
Okay,
Pardon me?
Part of the problem.
Chris,
Chris, go ahead it.
I just moved to receive and file the report.
I'll second.
all in favor of the motion to receive and file the director's report, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, received and filed. Next is the opportunity for the public to address the board.
Seeing no public, can I take this time to just introduce our
Yeah.
sergeant? Sergeant Eric Doherty. He's our afternoon sergeants, working, what, 3 to 11?
Most days, yes.
Most days. He flexes. We're trying to watch our overtime now that the county jammed us. So we're, but I wanted y'all to meet Eric because he's in the community all the time and he's not just a handsome face either. He's a very smart guy.
Well, thank you for that, Jack.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, so if there's no public comment, we'll move on to our financial activity. The board has received the financial activity in their packet, the informational part of it. And then we also have bills to approve. So what's the board's pleasure on financial activity?
I'd like to make a motion, receive and file the financial activity. Or,
We have a motion and second to receive and file the informational activity. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. The approval of bills, the board also received the bills in their packet. Total amount is $534,016.30. Are there any questions on the bills to be paid?
Like it says MERS. Do our employees have MERS on?
Defined contribution, 3%.
Okay, that we contribute on their behalf.
We do, if we match up to 3%.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills to be paid. Or, you notice that the treasurer picks up MERS. How much is that costing me?
Big nut to credit.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the bills as presented. Can we have a roll call in, please?
McDonald,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Sarowski,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Ranger,
Yes.
Ferrari,
Yes.
Fedor,
Yes.
Okay,
Burnett, sorry.
Yeah.
Ah.
Gotta get you down.
okay. Moving on then to old business. The first item is intergovernmental agreement. Lynn's just going to give us a quick update on, well, she did actually in her director's report, the proposed new agreement, which is going to be significantly modified due to the changes in structure as far as financial and just general health of the organization will be covered. So it'll probably be, it may be next month. It could be, we're way ahead of our timeline to get it passed. So we'll try and get it right and do it right the first time. So that'll be coming up. Is there any questions or comments on it?
Yeah, Mike, should we bring this little intergovernment contract to the next meeting just in case there's changes and you can?
Well, I suspect, and what I prefer, Lynn, is that if we're gonna do that, we'll redline it and,
Yes.
and get a redline copy to all the members prior to the meeting. So that if there are changes, you'll see them.
So this is
So you
going to be
won't-
expired today?
No, that expires, well,
No, this, I can draw a line to it.
yeah, as far as needing it in the future,
Yeah,
only for reference if you care to, yeah.
Right, it's, what I've done, I've sent this agreement along with our Oakland County agreement that we have, and also the agreement with Independence Township. So he's trying to mold the three agreements and try to build one for us that makes sense. Because we're serving other communities that are outside of what was in the original agreement, even though they're not part of the NOTA board and whatnot. So there's a lot of different changes that need to be made in the original agreement.
Yes,
Like, since all of our money now comes from Oakland Transit,
that's
is an
correct.
is an intergovernmental agreement really needed? I mean, should we look at a structure of maybe having the three supervisors kind of rule over NOTA? Because let's say we don't want to do this, they can overrule us anyway. They have all the assets.
The other side of the coin is that we tell them what it costs us to do what they want us to do. And if they don't want to spend the money, then we don't do it. I think basically this organization is also interested in preserving our assets and our reputation being service to the public. So I'm not saying it couldn't be done that way, Joe. Nobody's brought it forward as something.
Do we have any assets anymore?
We do.
Just the building, right?
The building, we do have some vehicles.
So if Transit buys us out, let's say they give Addison a share or in the Oxford a share, we wouldn't even own that.
Correct.
But
they
Oakland
won't
County
do
doesn't,
that.
Oakland County wants to be a contract out, they're, like, we're contracting, being contracted by Oakland County to provide the service for these residents.
It's kind of odd having us own stuff and them own stuff.
They do not own it, they gave us the money and we own it.
Yeah,
So-
that's what part of our agreement is that the vehicles that are purchased with their money.
Oh, they're NODA vehicles,
Yes,
even though the county paid for them.
yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Try to get a handle.
Mhm.
Gotta ask questions to find out.
Yes.
But they're gonna take us over someday, guaranteed.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the direction everything's headed with everything they do, and Dave Woodward is, and then we'll have to figure out with our attorneys how much money they owe Orion, Oxford, and Addison for all that we put into it and the assets that we own. But I mean, I don't guarantee. I would bet by the end of this year or next, they will have a plan.
that's a lot shorter than I had anticipated because they have shown no interest in operating anything. But the point is well taken, and insurance is going to be a big issue if as claims among the contractors increase due to the volumes and the changes in the organizational changes that need to be made. And we're certainly in there. We've got a couple lawsuits and other matters that affect the organization. So, how
Lynn, did they
long
give you any, did they tell, I mean, I'm assuming you go to meetings and stuff with Oakland Transit,
We do.
and what did they give you any,
No, all that we're being told, all the 5 providers, is that we're working together, that they're hoping to have, they're putting together the next agreement. And they're looking to see how long this next one will be for the 5 providers. And it's gonna be between 3 and 5, but maybe longer. So I don't foresee, what they're looking at combining is, you know how we are on Q-Ride right now? They wanna have a county-wide dispatch system so that we're all on the same system. So, and now, NODA was first on Q-Ride, WODA's next, and OPC is gonna be coming within a month. But that's gonna be temporary, because, right now, SMART's, looking at a new system. Once they pick that new system, which will be in about a year, then we'll all move over to that system. So for that, maybe that's what you've heard, is that we're all gonna be on the same system so that we can dispatch across the county, and is what the idea is.
okay.
And if SMART's involved, expectations are that it will take longer and cost more than what is projected at this time. That's just the way it seems to go. It's equipment, all of these things that we need in order to operate efficiently are just,
Yeah,
SMART just passed their contract last week. Well, it's going through the process, but it was just at the one committee, and it's a $44 million contract. That's what they can do.
yeah. I have a friend that sends me a video every single day of him driving by the smart bus that goes up and down Rochester Road with 0 people, never seen a person on it yet, every day.
and I digress, but materials management, I think all the northern Oakland County communities had better be prepared for another round of what we went through back in the late 80s with the county with their solid waste plans. And that inevitably means ground territory, somebody's going to be affected by it.
I'm just saying that we have seen and we have felt the impact of the power grab, and I don't care if this is being
It's the
recorded or
same
not.
thing.
I mean, they're telegram. I mean, they did it with dispatch. They just did it with police. They're doing it next with equalization and assessing services, and I've heard transit's on the list and the road commission. So, this county commission chair has a desire to control everything. And he's doing it.
Right.
So we should just understand that that's out there potentially, and I'm concerned about us protecting our treasure, the money that Orion, Oxford, and Addison has put into this, because when they decide to roll us up into one giant organization, they don't own these assets. and there should be a distribution back to the communities when we all of a sudden start providing, I'm not saying they're gonna get rid of our hub or anything, they would probably be smart to keep it, but, those assets don't belong to Brandon or Independence, or, we put millions of dollars into this organization over the years, so that's all, I just wanna make sure that we're
It's point
keeping
well
account,
taken.
and then when the assets start getting muddied, when they start buying a bus here and a van there, and then all of a sudden, we own the building, we own, so I know that we had these discussions a couple years ago when they started talking about the millages, but I just think it's gonna happen sooner than later. I hope I'm wrong, but,
Well, I'm sure they're fully capable and prepared to use their eminent domain powers. That's what they were gonna do back in 88, 89, when, Oxford and Addison were threatened with a 900-acre solid waste dump.
mhm.
And they're doing exactly the same thing. They've started these material management meetings at the county, and that's the main core of that process is
Mhm.
to do what they tried to do 30 years ago. So,
Yeah, we just have to band together and be smart and,
Yeah.
Be prepared.
be prepared.
Exactly. And I apologize for digressing. So we'll move on, as far as the intergovernmental agreement goes. Thank you for the update, Lynn. And then, NODA architectural drawings and budget, you'll find these in your packet as well. Go ahead, Lynn, please.
Yes, I have not received a budget yet. This is, the architect just sent the drawings the renderings last week. So this is what the expected changes will be. He said he'll have to go out to bid. We still have to pick a general contractor. It has to be through Oakland County, so it has to be one of their preferred general contractors that has to be on the list, and then they have to go out and cost it out. So I do not have any budget numbers yet, but these are the preliminary drawings.
Why won't they then buy us out of that building?
They're not interested in running the transit. They're
And-
just,
And we've been very
Yes.
forthcoming with them that if they're the assets they need for us to operate the way they want us to, they're paying for it. So they put money into our facilities already. They have agreed to having no claim on it for reimbursement or whatever. And the same will hold true for this
Right.
as well.
yes,
I mean, that's part
So
of
if they walk
parcel
away,
of it.
we still get the building.
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I equate it to, I'm gonna finish your basement.
How many contractors
That's how
are
I
you
equate this
talking
thing.
to?
And when
It's
you go to
actually,
sell your
you have to
house,
go through the architect.
better
because
sell it to
he
me
goes
minus
through
what I
Oakland
paid
County.
Steve
put your
Auger?
basement in.
Steve Auger is the
Yeah,
architect,
okay.
yeah, so he's gotta go through Oakland
So-
County and whatever the preferred providers
You're
that he
right.
picks, because it's
Okay.
their procurement process that we have
This
to
is
follow.
Well, if
definitely
there's,
right.
is there any other comments regarding the drawings or?
Yes,
When will we see a budget?
Just all that small print.
it is
Read
kind of
if
used,
I had to.
I sent the PDF, which I can send as
You
PDF.
can
so
blow it
can
up on
blow it
the
up, so-
Can you blow it up, okay?
on the computer, you can, yeah.
Yeah, you want this one?
That's a better one.
Look, why
Is
would
that-
we use their
Is that the
contract?
size of it,
They
Lynn?
won't,
Can you print it up?
because-
No, you gotta have the size printer.
Yeah, you need that
Not unless
paper.
large format.
Yeah. Part of the Oakland County, a part of what the stipulation was in them paying for part of the building is that we have to follow their procurement process. Their procurement process is like, has to be prevailing wage, it has to go through their contractors, it has to be approved by their procurement department, and we have to go through their procurement.
We didn't
process.
have to do that. We used the same architect based off of Oakland County. Our procurement policy says we could bid it out. We bid it out and got the bids and selected the contractor. Oakland County wants you to select the contractors that they approve.
Right. Because we had used it,
Hamstring shit for somebody that might be able to come and give you $30,000 less bid.
But allows you to get a little dip out of their contractor.
right, 'cause, we had a general contractor right down the street that we were really happy with our first initial build out, but he's not on that list, so he can't be part of the process, even though he knows the
Pay to
building has
play.
helped us for years. You know, it's unfortunate, but that's just part of the,
Imagine
rules
when
we
we
have
got
to-
out of Smart when we first formed ODA, same type of things.
so. So basically what we're doing, and if you have any, do you guys have any questions on, I think we've gone over like what we're doing in the building. We're just, putting in the drains, putting in the exhaust, putting in the sprinkler system primarily, so we'll open it up. There'll be kind of a drive-through wash bay area in the very back. It's not gonna be an official car wash, it's gonna be basically like a heavy plastic coat, so you can pull in and use our power washer that we have, and in an area that can be done all year, just do it on the cheap basically, but we've got, it's a great power washer, and, because when we costed out a bus wash, it was like $200,000, and it takes up way too much space for us, so that'll be kind of the back of our area. We're the original budget, we had to cut it back, was to putting in 2 mechanic bays, but I did write a grant for that, so maybe we'll get the garage equipment. That might be something we can put in down the line, but at least we'll have it prepped and ready.
Okay,
And then we're adding the office space additional, sorry. Yeah. So, okay.
any questions or suggestions from the board? If none, we'll move on then to new business, which reads Board Directed NODA Organization Review. I directed Lynn to place this on our agenda because this happened prior to any organizational changes that were eventually evolved. And you received, or if you didn't, Lynn's got copies of, we received a complaint. Oxford Township resident contacted his township supervisor and several of the members of NODA, but he didn't have all their emails, so you should have received an email from Lynn with the same information. But for our purposes today, you received it here, and I would appreciate it and require that you return that printed information at the end of the meeting after you've had a chance to review it. But Lynn did provide, and it was, again, it was a little late. There's a new organizational chart. It also, and I appreciate the fact that she took the time to put together the page,
Salaries?
the page with the members, who is in what position and what their responsibilities are. Because frankly, we've grown so much in the last 2 years, almost 3 years, that it was necessary for us just to be able to know who's doing what for us administratively. And as you can see, I mean, it's a huge change from where it was 3 years ago, for sure.
What is this? What's the time? This is the current?
That is the current.
That's what Lynn is, proposing.
And the two positions that are not filled right now are the operations manager and the operations support coordinator that are highlighted in that original one. And so we met with our admin team, and I'd like to introduce Jeff Brizendine. He,
How you doing, Jeff?
yes,
Thank you.
Jeff is our lead training coordinator. He comes from 30 years of experience at UPS.
38, yeah.
38, and then also worked at MTA, at Mass Transit Flint. And so he comes with a lot of great knowledge and has a lot of great ideas on how to firm up our training program, firm up a lot of our policies that we have, and I'm really excited to have Jeff get involved in that. He has a lot of experience with OSHA, a great deal, so he's going to be able to apply that, and just happy to have Jeff on board. I think he's going to be a great asset to NODA.
Okay. So, as part and parallel to that, we did have a change in administration. We had a departure, a forced departure of a operations manager, and so that position has not been eliminated. It's just open at this point, and I think Lynn's plan is to let the organization adjust for a little bit before we get seriously try to find a single person that might or might not be needed in that position. I incorrect in that, Lynn, or?
Yeah, we just kind of reformatted the chart. We met with Emma, and Emma's been our workflow manager. Very strong player. She's risen up really quickly in the last few years and has a lot of incredible skills. Emma's way overworked right now. She is handling driver scheduling. It's something the operations manager used to do, but she's took that over, and it's a very time consuming. On top of doing managing the dispatch, she manages Heartland, our timekeeping, and she has a lot of great organizational ideas, and what we really need to do is just lessen her load. And so what we just put out an application for is an dispatch scheduler and admin assistant. So we're going to looking to hire a full-time person Monday through Friday to do the dispatching of the drivers, or scheduling of the drivers. That's what it is, scheduling the drivers. Because we have 50 routes that and that's Monday through Friday. Yes.
Level set us. 3 years ago, we had how many drivers?
30, like almost 40.
And how many buses?
Oh, 20, like
Today we have,
30, something like that.
today we have how many drivers?
93,
93. And how many buses?
63,
63.
And how many dispatchers? We had
14.
we had 2,
Yeah,
3.
that's a hell of a growth in
That's
2 years.
substantial in a couple of years, yes.
Yeah, it is.
I've got a question. On chain of command, I've not seen for deputy director and administrative HR manager, both gives dispatch scheduler orders of what to do, but they're having to take orders from both at the same time. They're looking at your chart.
Oh, yes. So,
Dispatch takes orders from deputy and administrative. Somebody's going, he told me to do this, or she told me to do this, and I'm not to that.
are you referring to the dispatch schedule and admin assistant?
Yeah.
That's one
The arrow's
person.
pointing down from deputy down to
Oh.
dispatch.
2 inputs.
Yes, and the reason why is that person's going to assist both people. It's going to assist the deputy director by taking the driving scheduling off of her, and it's going to assist our HR manager, Danielle, who wants to help with putting in bills, like extra help. So it's more of an admin assistant. So this person will be assisting 2 people.
Yeah, so, I mean, I like to use the term, use the deputy director answers to you,
Right?
but the dispatch scheduler has to answer to the deputy director and the administrator. I don't know, you feel that's okay if they're just a helper?
Just helping out with that. I mean, I think she'll report to the deputy director, or he or she.
Sometime in the future, when things get better, you might
Right.
drop that arrow because
Mhm.
I can see something happening one day.
Then usually there's like a dotted line, like there's a solid line when it's their direct report and then
Oh.
dotted
Yeah,
line
that's
when it's a
good.
supplemental
Okay.
support.
That's a good point. And maybe a dotted line for like the HR, because it's really more just helping with,
That would be very clear then.
that makes sense. I like that, thank you.
And the HR component is a great addition to the organization, because we've had to outsource all of it basically until now. So we do have a qualified person to give us some advice on HR.
Danielle passed her exam, so she's in.
There are those companies that do this, because Nota's growing so quick. Maybe have an org person come in, observe everything. I mean, should we do a structure? I mean, Lynn, it's good that you're the director, don't get me wrong. But it seems like this is one of the few organizations, we have a lot of Indians and not enough chiefs. I mean, if I'm a driver, I'm gonna be like, what's going on here? I mean, I'd be thinking, be neat, you might have an org person to come and say, just sit with you guys for like 2 months, 3 months. And say, okay, how should things all flow? So there's not this, that, like what Ed was saying, who's this person answer to? This person, maybe that person? Have the org person just sit through everything and say, how should we structure this? So then it works out better than person X will know, okay, this is my superior, this is his superior, that's her superior. Instead of just kind of trying to wing it. I mean, I look at this as winging it. Yeah, it could work.
Where we did have an orgs, not an approved, but we had an org chart of how things ran, Joe, and recent changes, the explosive growth, et cetera, have
Oh, yeah.
kind of forced us to wing it.
But if you had a
2
person come
cents.
in,
But your point's well taken. and-
look at every job, sit with Lynn
And
for
the
a day.
board, we
sit
can,
with
the
this guy
board
for a
can
day.
discuss that. But everything we do is predicated on one concept that the county doesn't always agree with us on funding. And so we'll have to look at that for the budget item. for-
Just in terms of protection, like I'm seeing this, I would never comment on the snow concession,
No,
never.
and we won't,
Never.
we won't.
you know? And by having maybe an org chart, you could give it to the attorney to say, okay, let's have a special closed meeting, chat on this. Because this is just an accident waiting to happen.
Well, yeah, and I was gonna address that in our next item.
So we're not ready to act on this tonight, right?
As far as.
I don't know, a new org chart and
We
new
def-
job positions
Do we
and,
even need
Well-
to?
We really need to have a driver scheduler, because Emma's way overworked, and we need to hire someone to help with that. Because right now we have,
Do we have someone in mind for that position?
we're interviewing for it right now.
Okay.
Your
Internally?
job description.
Internally?
And through Indeed,
No.
Yeah.
and we have some good candidates, actually, Jeff is trying to poach someone.
what does it pay?
That's a good
$25 to
point, Chris,
$30
and
an hour.
That is,
What's that?
tell us that we're doing it within our budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's
I mean,
what, that's what I did on this next page, is I basically took our current budget, and then, I put in the new org chart, that it had like a $90,000 savings with the changes that, with
proposed.
making,
It was a wash.
this would be- and then, it's basically a wash, it is, and then adding the new positions of the, driver scheduler and admin assistant and dispatch team lead. So it's basically a wash, so it's basically just, moving the budget around into a different format. So Jeff would basically, it's a different title, he's training logistics manager, but he would be kind of the oversight of the drivers. Initially, it would be, the drivers would report to, depending on what it is, we have Roger for the operations and driver support area, and then we have Richard, who does like fleet and facilities primarily. So if there's a vehicle issue or issue around the building itself, he handles that. And then we have driver trainers actually that are just paid when they're out there training. So if they're actually, we have a new hire, or send them out to train, they're paid a higher wage while they're training. And so those are there. So then we were looking to do a driver team lead, and that team lead is a new position. That position would be assisting Jeff, who was hired to do training, but this person, we're looking to have a lot more administrative skills, so they can help with writing up standard operating procedures, creating training manuals, doing evaluations 30, 90 days, doing driver assessments, doing property assessments. You know, is this ramp safe for people for us to go? Where, you know, is it clear? Is there a tree in the way? There's a lot of these odd and end things that can take up a lot of time. And that's what we're looking for this position to do. So to alleviate, so Jeff can be more in the office, oversight of the drivers and being available.
And what do we pay these folks?
So what we're looking at, this driver team lead is between $25 and $30 an hour.
Any benefits or anything they get?
The dispatch scheduler is $25 an hour, dispatch team lead $25 an hour. So,
Any like medical or anything like that?
yeah, it's full-time positions, all three of them,
Okay.
yes.
So the benefits are probably about $5 to $10 an hour or more.
Mike, do we need to make a motion to accept the
Well-
chain of command, or just
Uh,
raise the hands if you like it?
Yeah, Chris, did you want to follow up at all?
I mean, I think this is, and you all know me, and I've been on this board for 12 years. I never micromanage the organization ever. But we got some big stuff happening. I think this is, I'll just be honest, I'm disappointed we don't have a closed session to discuss the issues. And it's legitimate. I don't get why our attorney's advising us not to. That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean,
Well, I'll go.
so I'm worried, and we only meet once a month, and I would like to know more. And Lynn knows I have approved everything that's ever come in front of me and advocated for it. And Lynn is the best operator. It's not directed toward Lynn at all, but we're the board.
Right.
We're proposing huge changes. Whether you believe it or not, when Oakland County looks at this, they're going to say, "We get rid of everything." That's what they're going to do. That's why we use the sheriff's office. We don't need a police chief. We don't need a. They cut out the top 4 lines of this, including the board of directors.
Right.
They don't need an executive director. They don't need a deputy director. They don't need HR because they have all that downtown. So I'm just nervous about making all these changes, and I want to give Lynn the tools she needs to be successful and to continue providing the excellent service that NODA does. I'm a huge fan and advocate, but we should be having a closed session tonight.
And we are going to have one, but
We only meet once a month, and this stuff can't wait once, so we need to have a special meeting now.
At this point, if we can get to that topic, I'd like to.
I'm not prepared, and I never have done this, but I'm not prepared to make all these changes, and I want to give Lynn I'll say again, I want to give Lynn the tools she needs. I believe that she needs what she needs, but
So
we're making huge changes, and still today we are responsible for this organization. The county isn't. So I don't know. I'm personally not prepared to make these changes, but I want to let Lynn hire who she needs to hire. But I think we need a little more thought about this than where we're at right now.
Well, that's a reasonable expectation, and Lynn, probably what we really need to do is look at not just this section of the changes. We need to look at it from a budget, the entire admin budget perspective, and see, you're saying there's a $90,000 savings
But then it's,
with this, what's proposed on this page, the 2025 operation, right here.
With these, this is our current, what we had previously, and then with these 2 positions being empty, and then we fill in with these positions that we have, and then we add the others, basically a wash. So.
Okay, so let's see it in black and white. It doesn't mean you can't proceed with trying to find someone. If failing there, any type of motion from us, is there any indication that we want to?
I don't want to. I'm just going to speak for myself. I'm not ready to vote on a wholesale change on how the org chart looks today. But I want to allow Lynn to hire help to, an admin assistant.
She has vacancies.
Yeah. This admin assistant, dispatch helper position.
Well, can we?
But I personally would like to understand, we can't just ignore this.
No.
And I want to dive into it a little bit to understand, why this doesn't work better than just in a 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute conversation tonight.
We will.
Yeah.
And when we get into that item on the agenda,
Okay.
I hope to be able to give some reassurance and information.
Okay.
So, can the board? Yes, Joe.
so to Chris's point, could you hire them under the current titles and everything like that, and then transition them to the new organization chart later?
I think as long as.
I think because what you're saying is
as long as the numbers.
you want to have them hire, but you don't want to see them change the whole organization. So could you hire them under the current titles and positions, just to give them
Yeah, I
Get them in the
agree.
building.
What you're saying, I don't disagree with that because we have operations manager and operations support coordinator open, right?
right? Could you hire them?
So maybe we hire an operations support coordinator and let them know we might be doing an reorg, but they could
Title could change.
basically do, that position pays the same, $25 an hour, right? No.
Yeah.
Operations support.
So maybe you can fill, you have a vacancy, you can fill it, that person can do what you're saying you need them to do. That's what the job is. They coordinate with the dispatch and then we can chew on this a little bit.
The reality
Follow
is,
the logic there, Lynn?
So you're
What-
saying the operations support would be more like the driver scheduler, or the dispatch scheduler? or
We
something like
change their job duties a little bit
Yeah.
under that same name.
With the understanding that the duties are going to be flexible.
And make-
You'll have to make sure that that flexibility is there in who you hire.
Okay.
You have to edit the position description like up front if you're intending them to do these different duties. But I do agree of taking a more detailed look, because when you do have the things like the OSHA violations, things of that nature that are happening, it kind of screams a lack of the middle management layer is lacking. So needing some more middle management and quality looks at things. Maybe a quality manager or something of that nature.
No, disagree. To me, that should have never happened.
Right.
This type of an organization, that should have never happened.
Jack?
the work needs to be done. If you hire the people with flexible job descriptions, you can get the jobs done. Then work your organization into how you want to spell it out. Your budget showed a wash. So I said, that's great. You're doing this with 2 less positions, but 4 more people. I went, well, I don't need to even question you. But when we talk about the relevance of everything, fill in the jobs that you need people for right now to get the job done, and work an organization to what you want it to be to cover the OSHA violations, the training, the things that Emma is choking on right now.
And the others.
Yeah, and the others. I mean, you give your training guy all kinds of stuff to do. He's used to that.
Joe?
And part of the problem, though, I think the new positions are both at 25. That 25 represents the wage, right? The problem is you can't hire someone 45 and say in 90 days we're going to make it to 25. Right? So you can't hire them as an operations manager.
No, but operations support coordinator is that similar level, and that's the help
Right.
you need today.
That's what I'm saying. You just got to be aware of that.
$25 an hour range.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure that you're clear on that, Lynn.
So I could hire one person is what the,
Maybe you could hire 2 support coordinators and then bump it to a manager level once you've figured out logistics.
If you hire 2 support coordinators at $25 an hour, and you determine one should be an operations manager, and that person that you hired at 25 qualifies, I'd be more comfortable saying you're not paying them enough and coming back and saying it should be 35. I would feel good about that. But you're not going to hire somebody at 35 and say, oh, by the way, now it's 25.
Right.
Joe?
But the operations and drivers support are under the new org.
It is.
Right.
The only ones that are in the current up top are the manager, coordinator, driver trainer, and on-call drivers that are being paired against each other, you know? So you can't hire an operations support driver because they're part of the new org. Even though the 2 down below are new positions, are those already existing, operations and driver support?
Being done
Yes.
by one person.
Okay.
No, we actually, no, we have someone there
And
already.
the only reason I brought that up because it says new org chart, but those are already included now. They're just part of the new org
They
chart.
used to be like the,
Well,
they used to be the operations driver support,
Okay.
AM, PM, so those
Okay.
are those 2 positions.
We need to
Sorry,
get into the
sorry.
weeds, but I don't think
Sorry.
that, but let me just offer an idea. What I heard you say is you need support, you need the dispatch support.
Yes,
Is that right?
yes.
To me, that's like almost a straight line from operations support coordinator, it's in the title, and that's vacant. So I'm saying, and that pays about $25 an hour.
But it's
The-
really under Emma. Emma's like the workflow manager, so it's really under a different area.
But this is vacant,
It is.
and you wanna fill this, right here.
Right.
To me, those are very similar. Operations support coordinator, dispatch scheduler, and admin assistant.
Okay.
It's my take. So I'm comfortable with you hiring that position, personally. If that's where you said you wanted to hire, right? That's what you said you wanted to do. Making the other shifts, I'd like to talk more about it, personally. Does that give you what you need if you can hire that one? You want to hire one position right now or 2?
One for sure is what we're looking at,
Okay.
we've already had. The other one that we were going to post, if it was okay, was the driver, was someone to support Jeff and his team. on more of an administrative level and building out the training materials, because right now
Plan
Jeff has
tracking.
kind of stepped into the operations manager type of role and has been okay with oversight with, he's kind of taken that spot right now. And so there's no one there to do the work with like building out training manuals, doing the assessments, doing the evaluations of the drivers, making sure that, if they need additional training in wheelchairs, being hands-on, those type of things. So those are the two positions right now that, and both of them are about the $25 range, so. But
Okay,
there's support.
so, Chris, you okay? Everybody, with short of having a motion and making a motion, if our director proceeds on what direction we've given her, and then more burden, we'll need to see that in black and white.
Right.
Next meeting,
Okay.
hopefully. Okay. Is there any other organizational questions related to what we've got? If not, we'll move on to the legal matters, item number 11. We have, and we are treating it seriously, we have had a complaint made with certain allegations against the board and employee / director /
Board members.
board members. I used broader note of board, but, that information, that complaint has been disseminated to you. You have it before you. I spoke with Dan Christ, who is our legal counsel currently, and there were basically 3 highlights that he recommended the board address, and we would have to decide how we'll address them in order for the board to be responsible, fulfill our responsibilities, because there has been a complaint made. And it doesn't matter who it is or who made the complaint, we have a duty to investigate. So that's what I'm recommending that the board do. And how we do that is up to the board. We could hire a third party to come in and perform an investigation. We could appoint less than a quorum members of our board to look into the allegations and complaint. Or we could outright, and not a move that I would suggest, but we could dismiss it as
Disgruntled.
Having no merit, having no merit, so to
having
speak.
no merit. Exactly, Joe. But personally, I would not recommend that one until we've at least, come on, we've got to take a look at it and see what's there. So I would like to basically limit the discussion to what we would like to do at this time. It's going to be expensive to hire a third party, although we could hire an attorney. It wouldn't be our own attorney. Or I guess Mr. Chris said he could do it, but objectively, how would it look from the outside? It's kind of like the school board, not wanting to run their own investigation, so to speak, instead of having a third party or objective party do it. So that is a possibility, but there are attorneys out there that are well-known that could also perform that function for us. Or we could have an ad hoc committee of our own board with just recommending, to make a recommendation.
Who's our insurance company right now?
MMRA,
We are with them. Have we consulted with them?
I notified them.
We have notified them.
I'm on their board. I didn't know we were still with MMR. I thought we had to ship with the county transit. We should consult with them and ask them their opinion. With their was Star Kincaid. She's the, I know it's not a lawsuit right now, but this is a lawsuit. When someone cites the law and whistleblower, we're getting sued.
Right.
So we should consult with MMRMA and do whatever they tell us we should do, whether we hire, they say recommend us hiring a third party, doing an ad hoc investigation. I agree with you, Mike. We cannot just straight dismiss this.
And I think to your point, as you're saying, because they might want to take the lead on it themselves. Even
They're gonna guide us. They're our insurance company. We should,
Right.
if we haven't sent this to them, we should send this to them
We-
and ask them for their advice.
Yep.
We have.
They-
Okay.
Mr. Brakefield had his hand up.
I agree with Chris at the very beginning on the onset. This was so volatile. I think it would behoove us, this whole board, to go through a closed session and discuss this thing. I mean, there's some things that maybe we could answer right off the bat, say this is sour grapes. There's some things that Lynn could answer and say, that's just sour grapes. But there's some things in that thing that's pretty volatile, and I don't want to discuss it, obviously. But I think this board should go over these accusations and see if there's any validity. I don't like letting somebody else handle it and this board not have a clue what the answers are. I will be knocking on your door saying, what was the story? What's the story? And it's involving us as well. It's just like somebody making an accusation against Lynn and say, Lynn, you're not going to know anything about it, what the results are, because we're going to let somebody else handle it.
Well,
That's not the right thing to do. I think we should have had a closed door meeting, even if the attorney wasn't here. And then just go over it and say, what is sour grapes?
the other side of that coin is that this is a normal process. You have to address complaints. The complainant claims it's a formal complaint. We'll treat it like a complaint. I mean, we address all complaints. How fast and how publicly we do that, that's up to the board. Mr. Curtis.
Well, I just happen to know the other side of the coin from conversations I had and listened to some of the things that led to this before the complaint. And I think there may be some legal things that have been broken.
Illegal things.
Illegal
Yeah.
things happened,
Yeah.
and I would not want to have this complaint looked at without it being in entirety talked about in a closed session.
Yes, Joe.
And we got to be careful about what you go into closed session for. There's certain things, right? Pending litigation is, we assume this is going to be coming down the pipe, but it's not pending yet.
Attorney opinion.
Attorney opinion.
Yes, if he could have been here, I
Yeah,
suppose,
yeah,
yes. Yeah, but for us to just go
Yeah,
and do
yeah,
it all on
we
our
can't, yeah,
own.
we can't, yeah,
Right.
yeah, I agree.
Right, so, because then,
Well, I would just, formally, I'm asking you as the chair that we have the attorney at our next meeting or a special meeting. And I can tell you right now, I'm out of the country for our next meeting, but it doesn't mean we can't be represented by Mike Flood or someone else. But our attorney should be at the next meeting and we should have a closed session on it's not pending litigation, but we can get his opinion on things that are being said and his recommendation as our attorney. So.
I can't speak to why he did not want, and I think it has something to do with personnel. The closed meeting act, there are certain, when you're discussing personnel,
Talking a
there's
specific individual
privacy
that
rights
has to
and
be
things
at
like
Yeah.
that.
closed
Yeah.
session.
employee reviews, but he's not longer an employee, and then they have to agree to be in closed session themselves for the review. If both parties agree, then you can do it in closed session.
So,
There's a way we could have done it.
Yeah.
I know
yeah,
that, so.
Yeah.
I don't dispute that.
Yeah.
It all happened kind of, it
I'm not
feels
here
like
on
it
March
happened
20th
yesterday. It's
either.
been so, it's been very involved.
You'll have to be here.
Well, or I would propose, I think in my recommendation is we specifically ask MMRMA how, as our insurance company, when they read this, Star Kincaid, what would you recommend that we do as an organization to best protect our organization in response to this? And then
As long
my
as you're
recommendation as just a board member is we should take whatever. I agree that our attorney has laid out options that we can take, but I think we should take the recommendation of our insurance company. All we represent are cities, villages, townships, police stations, and community colleges, and apparently public transit authorities.
Well, the only caveat to that, Chris, is whether they will or won't get involved without having a lawsuit.
We're asking for
in
their
hand.
advice, and I'm happy to call with you if you want, but we're not asking them to get involved except to say, we received this.
Okay.
What
It's
would
not,
you do?
it's not litigation, but as our insurance company, it's in our name.
I agree.
You know,
No,
municipal risk mitigation. I mean, everything we do is about avoiding and protecting our money, which is a state pool. It's all of our money.
Right.
So I think they will have good, sound advice as to what we should do in response to this or not do. And I think I would recommend, this is my 2 cents, that maybe based on what they say, we potentially schedule a special meeting just to discuss that.
Okay.
I would like to be there, I know obviously Mike Flood is pretty well versed, but our other members never even been to one of these meetings. They probably hasn't even read the bylaws of NODA. So I would think that would make sense regarding this, that we,
No argument there at all.
yeah.
Yes, Joe?
It shouldn't take that long to get to them and get some kind of feedback. So potentially you could have that meeting, because Jack's saying he's off March 20th, you're out March
Yeah,
20th, so
for sure.
perhaps you could get something in within the next 10 days, 2 weeks,
I would say we,
for a special meeting for that specific purpose.
I'm on.
because we do need to do,
But perhaps the week after, I mean, if you find that sweet spot.
I would just say, yeah, we need to do option, based on the 3 choices you presented, I think we need to do A or B. I think C is not an
Can
option.
you create a window for dates and try and then contact? I'm going to give Lynn some direction. Find a window where we might have availability for all parties here at the table to be available.
Is there a good day for you, Chris, right now, or is there?
Is there a window?
Not that week.
2
March
weeks, 2 weeks or
13th.
something.
I mean, I'm in town, yeah. Anytime in the next 2.5 weeks would be pretty good for me.
Then you're going next week.
Not next
I'm going
Friday.
next week.
That's
but-
kind of quick anyways.
Yeah, but I could,
Okay,
Yeah, I'm gone
March is
from the 12th to the 21st.
okay,
that's our target.
all right.
So we'll make that our target for
Maybe before the
a
12th then?
special meeting.
Yeah, for sure. Like the first week of the month would be good for me. The week of the 3rd.
Is the 6th okay with?
Yeah.
Okay, good time on the 6th?
Okay.
Is it-
Can't speak for my council member, but sure, yeah.
Same like
For me,
Eastern
for
time?
me it'd be morning. We have an all-staff meeting all afternoon,
What do you want those back?
ribbon cutting, and
When you get.
March 6th, that's okay for me.
Amples, I'm ready.
Is it 6 at 4:30 work for
Don't want
everybody?
to end up in anybody's
Yeah.
hands.
Special meeting?
we have a chamber. I mean,
March 6th.
why don't we do a
March 6th?
poll? Yeah, I could do a morning of the 6th. I can't do this. I can't do anything from noon till 8 p.m. on the 6th.
Oh, how about morning? Does morning work for you?
For me,
10 a.m.?
yes.
What time is good? 9 a.m.? What time is with you?
And Councilperson Ross sometimes is available during the day like that too.
Okay,
So I can't say for sure, but sometimes she,
yeah, 10 a.m.?
it's not like she's totally out.
That's fine, that's lunch.
Okay, so tentatively, we're looking at trying to set something up either with or without legal counsel present, but if we have something to consider from legal counsel, we'll plan on having a special meeting March 10th, or March 6th at 10 a.m. That sounds good.
Can I offer, can we say maybe 9:30? I got
Sure.
people coming from Chicago, from the railroad to meet with me.
9:30
9:30
a.m.
would be give me an extra half hour.
March 6th?
Is there
Yeah.
do we want to meet here, or is there a better location
Oh,
for
this is the
everybody?
perfect location.
This is,
Right here's good.
I think we can accommodate that.
Okay.
What time? 10 o'clock?
9:30.
9:30
9:30.
on March 6th.
To 11:30. Oh,
And-
I'll take
and,
2 hours.
I appreciate everybody's
Are you gonna reserve this room?
I'm gonna try.
in doing this, and
If not, the room downstairs.
if
If you don't have space, we could host too.
and if anybody here would like to have a new election for the chair,
No,
I'm
God.
No, I
you know,
move to
if I'm
adjourn.
disappointed, if I'm disappointed or whatever, I'd be more than willing to, help.
We
in other
respectfully
ways.
reject your request for resignation. Are we
I just want
assigning?
everybody to know, it has been very difficult
We appreciate
with the
it.
circumstances
Yeah.
such as they are.
Yeah.
So,
March
And I-
6th, 9:30.
I've presided over most of the most recent.
Yes, you have.
I'll make a motion to give you a raise.
Yeah,
Double space.
Anything times nothing.
we
is
just gave it
still
to him
nothing.
last Monday, Tuesday. Anyway,
Okay,
you need a motion or nothing? Just-
No.
yeah,
I'll make a motion that we have a meeting, special meeting, March the 6th at 9:30 here at Oxford offices. And
all
Jack will
in fa-
decide what room we're gonna be in.
all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. And Lynn will get us, also, we need public notice for each community to post on their warrants for a special meeting.
But are we going to be in closed doors after the attorney tells us it's okay to have that attorney?
Well,
Because if
we're
it
gonna,
is,
we're going to assume with.
Well, we can still meet the publishing deadlines. Let's talk to the attorney and find out how we have to post it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it should just be a regular posting.
look, we're looking for a chair. We can get rid of you and get somebody else.
Yeah, I wish we
You
would.
gotta start the open session
It's
anyways.
volunteer.
Yeah. Okay, thank you all. Appreciate your support. I know Lynn does, and I know the organization does as well. We've got a lot invested, not just monetarily, but our communities have all really made this organization what it is. Okay, if there's no further discussion on that, we'll go to public comments. Stepping away from the table, I think, if you don't know, Lynn's son just had a,
Oh, my grandma.
and she's.
Okay.
So on behalf of the board, can, you know.
Congratulations.
for that.
Get you a cane, congratulations.
Okay, receive and file the monthly
So
rider and mileage
moved.
report.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Okay. Rayfield and
And Chris?
Chris Bernard, okay. All in favor of the motion to receive and file the rider and mileage reports, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Board member comments, I'll start Carl.
Just curious on this, we're gonna be getting together anticipating there's gonna be a lawsuit, correct?
Potentially.
Yeah, 'cause I don't wanna get way out ahead of it if it just disappears.
Well, I think we display conservative point of view and say the potential is there. That's why we notify our insurers when matters like this happen, because there's that potential. That's what they want to know. So that's what we've done. We're just doing our due diligence in a
Okay.
situation like this.
That's my comment.
Okay, thanks, Carl.
We have a capital asset plan, like have that, where we know exactly what's our stuff, what's the county stuff. So if something were to happen, let's say the county says, no, we want you out of it. We say, here's your bill for 1.3 million. That's what you owe the 3 communities, whatever that is.
No, we know what we're worth. Now, whether it's in the form of a plan,
So, no, all of our assets are ours except for the 5310 vehicles, which are smarts. They actually own the title to those.
It might be good to like get an appraisal on all our stuff, just so we know there's something in our back pocket that says we own a building that's worth $200,000 or whatever, just so we know what our assets are.
We know what our assets, because we have,
Yeah.
are depreciating them and capitalizing.
Yeah.
And
Is there a schedule that shows all that?
we audit each
Sure,
year.
the auditor
I
be
mean,
here to
we-
go through that
We
and
do.
have a list.
We meet all the requirements that corporation or whatever has
That's
to.
all I have.
Door?
I was just gonna say, yeah, each year our auditors go through every vehicle, every piece of equipment you have. They put it on an asset schedule and
Okay.
show value, but that's all, nothing else.
Okay.
No comment? No? Okay. Chris?
Congrats and thank you, Len, for all you do for us.
Thanks, Chris.
And sincerely, Mike, I know the work you're putting into this, and you have since Oakland Transit started, and I cannot personally thank you enough on behalf of Orient, so thank you.
Well,
And I know you're a super humble person, but there's a lot, and we have a lot of responsibility, and that's why I didn't feel comfortable on the the job stuff just quickly doing it. I do think I don't know that we need to go as deep as what you're saying, Mr. Ferrari, maybe we do, but at least to sort of really digest it and talk through stuff, I definitely agree with. That's it, thank you.
Bill?
You know, I don't think you do it without an intent to go for a lawsuit. It's a matter of, can we make any money off this or anything? I think you need to get an outside source to investigate these allegations.
That's what we're
I
doing.
mean, they're allegations at this point, but if we did it ourselves, the court wouldn't stand, it wouldn't stand up in court.
Okay. That it?
That's it.
Mr. Curtis?
When you buy your salt from the Road Commission of Oakland County, do they dump it in the yard?
Then we have a vehicle,
Uh-huh.
we just take the vehicle down there, they fill the vehicle
Oh, you take the pickup truck down
down
there,
there,
fill.
fill it up, and then that's.
Yeah, we've got a big, one of those.
Yeah, salts are in the back.
Got a dump
Okay.
where they could dump
I'm
all
just
it.
comparing, I just saw the price of that salt and I'm going, on mine, I think it's a little more.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Thank you.
Brakefield?
$3,000 a gravel train.
No, great,
They're
great
paying
meeting,
$77
very informative. We do
ton.
need to discuss things
And
in
if there's
a lot more
22
detail, but
tons,
as a
say
matter of
40
fact, we had
tons, that's
an election, if I'm not mistaken, in December or something. And that made you chairman for the whole year, so no bowing out,
Well, I'm just saying, I'm
no bowing out.
I'm willing
It
to
was-
serve, but I can
It
also
was in your
appreciate,
contract when
you
you
know,
signed
the
it.
seriousness of this. So, thank you. Okay? Well, thank you to our guests. Sergeant,
Sergeant Doherty, he's checking out the map. I just wanted to make sure everybody met him.
he knows where Oxford is, eh?
He does. He knows to keep all that riprap down in Orion.
What?
You heard me. You wouldn't have jumped.
Lynn, are you good?
No comment.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
Move to
Motion
adjourn.
adjourned.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
You're running right off.
Thank you, and, next meeting's
Just
March
10 minutes.
20th, but we're gonna have a special meeting on March 6th,
And it is here in this room.
and it is at
Make
Oxford
sure I'm on
County.
the emails too, Leonard.